Welcome everyone to another startup and automobile documentation. What we're looking at today is a 2022 GMC Terrain SLT. This Terrain is painted in Quicksilver Metallic. You do get smart key access at all four-door handles. On the key fob you have the buttons for lock, unlock, remote start, power tailgate release, and panic. It does have a premium Bose sound system. The front door panels have storage areas. You can power operate the rear liftgate from here, and you get power windows, locks, and mirrors. And you also have two-person memory settings for the driver's seat. It has a jet black interior, and the SLT trim comes with leather seat upholstery. The driver's seat is fully powered with two-way power lumbar support, while the front passenger seat is partially powered with a power seat base, two-way power lumbar support, but a manual seat back. However, that manual seat back actually allows you to fold down completely flat the front passenger seat. And now that we're behind the wheel, let's go ahead and start the engine. It does have push-button ignition. The Terrain is GMC's contender in the hot, compact crossover segment. The Terrain made its debut for the 2010 model year, and as of the 2025 model year is now in its third generation, asterisk. All three generations of the Terrain have served as platform siblings to the corresponding generations of the Chevrolet Equinox. The Terrain actually started out as a mid-sized two-row SUV, but ended up downsizing to a compact SUV beginning with its second generation. Anyhow, this 2022 model represents the Terrain's second generation, which was produced from model years 2018 through 2024. Again, this generation marked the Terrain's downsizing to the compact class, and it thus no longer offered an engine with more than 4 cylinders. It rides on the General Motors D2XX platform alongside the third generation Chevrolet Equinox, albeit the Terrain has its own entirely different styling inside and out. As for changes during the second-gen Terrain's run, the optional 2-liter turbo and 1.6-liter turbo diesel inline-4 engines were eventually dropped a few years in, leaving the base 1.5-liter turbo 4 as the sole engine choice. Most notably, 2022 saw the Terrain get a mid-cycle refresh, which updated the styling a bit and added a rugged AT4 trim level. For 2023, the 1.5-liter Turbo 4 engine did get an update, which gave it a small bump in power. The US market 2022 model year Terrain came in the following trim levels: SLE, SLT, AT4, and Denali. By 2022, the only available engine was a 170 horsepower 1.5-liter turbo inline-4. The sole transmission was a 9-speed automatic, and your drivetrain options were front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, the latter of which being what this one has. The compact Terrain was the smallest model in GMC's 2022 SUV lineup, slotting below the midsize Acadia. Starting with the instrument cluster, we do have 4 analog gauges: your tachometer, speedometer, fuel gauge, and temperature gauge. And there is a digital info display that can be gone through via these controls on the steering wheel. So right now we're on our home screen, but then we go over to our info menu. We have all sorts of stuff: fuel range, oil life, tire pressure, that kind of vehicle info. Then your radio info, nav info, phone info, and then all sorts of settings. It has a 4-spoke design, heated, leather-wrapped, and multifunctional steering wheel. It does have sport grips. And as for controls, on this side you'll find your cruise controls, your heated steering wheel toggle button, and with this button you can adjust the gap for your forward collision alert. Then on this side you'll find your info display controls, voice command button, Bluetooth phone control button. Then on the back of the spokes you'll find your seat track and volume controls for your audio system. The steering wheel is tilt and telescopic. The parking brake is electronically operated. You have your exterior lighting switch, fog lamps, panel dimmer, climate vent for the driver. On this side is your high beam and turn signal stalk. You also have auto high beams. Then on this side is your wiper stalk. Going down the center of the interior, you have your central climate vents. And here is your whole IntelliLink touchscreen infotainment system, which we will go over more in a bit. You also have your physical volume power tuning knobs, seat track, back and home shortcut buttons for the infotainment system. You have your hazard light switch, along with your auto start-stop toggle button. It does have dual zone automatic climate controls. All the controls are right here, so you have temperature for either side, auto and sync, defrosters, AC recirculation, fan speed knob, and your different zones. Right here is your electronic gear shifter. As you can see, it's just buttons and switches. But putting it in reverse does reveal a backup camera with guidance lines. Below the shifter, you'll find a little bit of storage. You also have a 12-volt power outlet, an SD card slot, an aux port, as well as a USB A and C port. 2 cup holders. You have the controls for your 3-stage heated front seats, with the option to heat either the whole seat or just the seat back. Right here is your drive mode selector. You have 2-wheel drive mode, all-wheel drive mode, as well as an off-road mode. Then you also have the controls for your lane keep assist and your hill descent control. More storage right here. Center console with more storage, as well as a couple of USB-A ports. A little bit of a shelf above the glove box. Both sun visors do have vanity mirrors and lights. Does have an auto-dimming rear view. Grab handles at all 4 corners. And onto the overhead console, you do have a sunglass holder, garage home link, reading lamps, OnStar passenger airbag indicator, and you have the power controls for your panoramic sunroof. Very nice, big panoramic sunroof. Takes up pretty much the whole roof. Anyways, here is the touchscreen IntelliLink infotainment system in this 22 Terrain SLT. So right now we're on the home screen. You have some shortcuts along the bottom here. Then your main menu is right here, so we'll just take it from the top. We'll go to audio. So we have AM, FM plus Sirius XM and Bluetooth audio streaming. And of course that Bose sound system on this SLT sounds great. Especially if you want to turn up that bass. Sound settings right here. Phone. Self-explanatory for pairing a phone. Now we do have navigation. Nice navigation system. Very responsive screen. In your Wi-Fi hotspot, different users, and then all sorts of settings. Settings for the system, settings for different apps, and then of course for the vehicle itself. You have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto capabilities. Also have Amazon Alexa and Spotify built in, which is awesome. And then that's pretty much a very brief gist of this infotainment system. But now we'll roll down the driver's window and have a look at the engine bay. All 4 windows are automatic down, and the driver's one is automatic up as well. This SLT rides on the optional 19-inch machined aluminum rims with gray painted accents. Powering the 22 Terrain is GM's LYX 1.5-liter turbocharged inline-4 engine. It's an all-aluminum power plant with dual overhead camshafts, 4 valves per cylinder, direct injection, and variable valve timing. Horsepower is rated at 170 at 5,600 RPM, and torque is rated at 203 pound-feet from 2,000 to 4,000 RPM. This engine is paired to a 9-speed automatic transmission with a manual mode, and power in this terrain is sent to all 4 wheels via the optional all-wheel drive system. Running on regular unleaded with a 15.6-gallon fuel tank, EPA estimates are 25 mpg in the city and 28 mpg on the highway. It has a McPherson strut front suspension and a multi-link rear suspension. 4-wheel disc brakes are standard. Max tow capacity is 1,500 pounds. The fuel door is on the driver's side. You do have roof racks. And there are also storage areas on the back door panels. (60/40) split folding back seats. In terms of backseat passenger amenities, you do have map pockets on the backs of both front seats, your grab handles, reading lights, code hooks. Then down here you have your own set of climate vents, along with 2 USB-A ports, and even down here is a household-style power outlet. And then you have a folding center armrest with 2 cup holders. And as for space, I'm about 6'1", with the driver's seat in a pretty comfortable driving position, and I gotta say, this is just a very comfortable back seat. I don't feel like I'm in a compact crossover. I kind of feel like I'm in more of a mid-size crossover, which is pretty impressive. Leg room, foot room is really good, headroom is pretty decent even with this sunroof in here, but having the sunroof open makes it feel even more airy. SLT trim level, it's not quite a Denali, but if you want to save a few grand, you still have some niceties like your heated front seats, heated steering wheel, and that awesome panoramic sunroof, among other things. Bose sound system, I mean, pretty decently equipped compact crossover, pretty well-rounded, plus you got the all-wheel drive. And I think the Terrain is a pretty good-looking compact crossover in its class. Single exhaust, rear wiper, and this SLT does get a power tailgate. With the back seats up, the Terrain provides 29.6 cubic feet of cargo space. Fold the back seats down and you then have 63.3 cubic feet. And if that's not enough, you can even fold flat the front passenger seat. And you can see how easy those back seats fold. Anyhow, thanks for checking out this tour of this 2022 GMC Terrain. And as always, stay on the lookout for future tours.